Hello and welcome guys. So in this video we'll be creating this scene and learn how we can create like these stylized stained glass windows, and it is actually a pretty simple scene. So yeah, let's just start right away. Alright, so now in a new Blender file, let's just press A to select everything and delete. And if you will look over in the link in the description, you will find these two files that we are going to be using to create this scene. So first one is the simple texture of our stained glass window and the other one is for the wall. Alright, so now let's just press 1 for the front view, and you can press Shift plus A and select image and add in a reference image. And I'll just quickly go over to my file over here. Alright, so let's open it up. And the way we are going to create this window is like really simple. We are not going to complicate it. Press Shift A and let's just simply add in a plane. Press R then X and type in 90 to rotate it by 90 degrees. And you can press Tab, press Ctrl R and hit right click just to add the edge loop in the center. We can select these two vertices and press X and delete them just to create the plane in half. And now we can add in a simple mirror modifier so that we can easily work on it without being like worried about the right side. Alright, so select this all. Let's move it down over here. You can enable X-ray and we can enable wireframe as well so that we only see the edges of our plane and we can clearly see the image. Let's move this right over here and we can delete these two top vertices. So press X and just delete them. So select this one right over here and now it's really simple. You just press E, press Z to lock on the Z axis, move it upwards. Let's move it a little bit inwards and now it's pretty simple. Just keep on pressing E and extrude it this way. Make sure to not like add too many vertices. Just this much is fine because we are going to be adding like a subdivision surface modifier just to smoothen it out. Now you can enable clipping right over here. Basically what clipping will do is if you move past these vertices like through the middle, they will go past each other like this. But if you enable clipping now, press E and let's just join them in the center like this. They won't go past each other, which is exactly what we want. Alright guys, so now the basic shape of our window is done. Let's just disable X-ray and now we need to extrude these edges or like vertices to create like this extrusion. So press A to select everything. You can press Alt plus E and extrude edges and extrude them. Just hit right click and now you can just press S to scale it inwards like this. And then you can just press simply G then X and move it in just to match it perfectly with this line. Let's enable X-ray, select this bottom edge and move it downwards. And if you want, you can just quickly fix up like a couple of vertices if you feel like they are a bit too out of place. But I think overall it's fine. Obviously, it does not have to be like perfect. A little bit here and there would work perfectly. It's fine. Alright, so now we have created this, and what we need to do is basically just press Tab, go into edit mode, press A to select everything, and just extrude it backwards like this. Alright, perfect. Press Tab, press Ctrl R and add edge loop somewhere around here like this. You can press 3 for face select, hold Alt and select this like complete loop. Again press 1 for the front view, enable X-ray, and we are going to create like this second part of the extrusion. So you can again press Alt plus E, extrude faces along normal this time and just extrude them again this way. Make sure to go over here under this section and enable offset even, because you'll see it will fix up some of these like corners. So enable offset even, and I will just select this part right over here and we can just move it down. I think rest everything is pretty much fine. And we have created like this second section of the extrusion, and maybe I'll go one more time, like one last time. Create another edge, press 3 for face select, hold Alt and select it all completely. Again press 1 for the front view, press Alt plus E and extrude faces along normal and just extrude it outwards this way. Just make sure it does not go into like the stained glass part over here. You just want to keep it till here only, till the like window part. Again enable offset even to fix up like these areas in the corners, and just select this part right over here, press G then Z and move it down. And yeah, with that our windows are basically done. Let's see how we can texture them, and let's just first I'll enable cavity and shadow just for a little bit better visibility. Add a bevel modifier Increase the bevel amount, sorry, decrease it. Right click and shade auto smooth. Now to like fix up all of these jagged edges, I think I'm going to add a subdivision surface modifier. You can remove the spin icon from the smooth by angle and move it to the top. And first we need to fix up like a couple of areas. Press tab, press Ctrl R and add edge loop over here, which will fix up these corners. Press tab again, add edge loop over here, and you can add one over here as well. Now these corners look pretty good. If you want, you can give 2 levels of subdivision to give it like a lot more smoothness. And I think now our windows look actually pretty good. Don't actually like apply the modifiers because it will give all of the geometry. We don't want that. And now we need to add like textures to it. So what we can do is we can move over to the shading tab, click on new, and this will be like the window. Simply press Shift A and add in an image texture, and the image will be obviously our like this reference image that we have used. And now I will just plug this in directly into the base color, and you will see nothing really happens right now because we haven't placed the UVs correctly. So first you need to go into the UV editing, and now when you press A to select everything, make sure you are in the front view first. So press 1 so that you are in a front view like which is completely flat like this. Press tab, press Ctrl A and make sure to apply the scale because that can mess up the UVs sometimes. So just press Ctrl A, apply the scale, press tab, again A to select everything, press U and select project from view. Okay, now we get the UVs like this. So first undo it, come over here under modifiers and just enable the mirror modifier. Move it to the top and you can just apply the mirror modifier, not anything else. Press A to select everything, press U and project from view. And right away you will see something like this. If you go into the shaded mode, you can actually see the textures appear. So just scale it up and perfectly match it with our window. And you will see the textures will start to appear right over here. And they actually look pretty good. Just make sure to like fit it properly. If some things are like not fitting properly, you can enable this thing which will sync the selection. Basically, if you select this part over here, the UVs will be selected, and if you select this over here, these vertices will be selected, and you can just move it down like this. And with that, I think our windows look pretty good. What we can do is we can come back to our shading tab, and if you press Shift plus A and search for a hue saturation value node and plug this in between over here and decrease the overall saturation of this, you can see we can make it look a lot more like actual stone and not really that saturated color we had earlier. So set this to 0 and perfect. We have our what do we say, the window. And now let's create the actual glass part, which is I think even more simple. So you press tab, press Ctrl R, add an edge loop right over here, hit right click, and you can press Shift plus D to duplicate this, and again hit right click to place it exactly over here. Press P and separate the selection. This will basically make it a separate object, and you can just press tab now, press A to select everything and press F to fill out this face. And I think I will just remove the subdivision surface modifier. We don't actually need it. The bevel as well. I don't think we need the bevel modifier too. And now we can again come back into the UV editing. Press 1 for front view. Make sure to press Ctrl A, apply the scale. You can come over into the material like properties and make sure it has the window material only. And now press U and project from view. And again scale it up and place it exactly over the window part and not anywhere else. I'll select this bottom part and maybe move it up like this. And with this, our window is fitting perfectly as well. Obviously, it looks really bad right now, but don't worry, we'll fix all of these things up. Let's come over here in layout. Let's see, we can press Shift A and start by adding in a simple plane. And I think you can just press Shift A and add in a sunlight as well. Just rotate the sunlight somewhat like this. I'll select the timeline that is over here in the bottom and change it to something like a shader editor, and just select this shader, and you can click on this two icon, which means this material is being used by two different objects. You can just click over here and now rename this to stained glass, just so both of them are different, because obviously I want to increase the saturation for this because we want it to look like glass. And we won't be plugging in the principled BSDF, so you can just select it and press delete, press shift A and add in a glass BSDF, plug this in over here in the color. Now press shift A and add in the emission node, which will basically help us to make like things glow. So we obviously want the glowing part, and now you can press shift A, add in a mix shader, which will mix them both according to the factor. Plug this in over here, plug this in over here, and plug this in over here. Make sure to plug the color value over here in the color of this as well. And obviously we don't see like anything. You can see if you increase the emission, it starts to glow a bit, but it looks pretty bad because we haven't set up the rest of the things properly. So don't worry, we'll do all that. Maybe we can set this to 1.2, set the factor over here to something like 0.4. Select this plane, press R, then X, type in 90. And this can be like our wall, which will be over here, something like this. I'll just press N for the sidebar view, and let's just decrease the size of this a bit, and like this as well. Yeah, I think this much is pretty good. Now you can select the actual window part, these two. And now let's just increase the scale of this a bit. Maybe somewhat like this. Move it back. And now the one problem that we might face is that this glass will kind of collide with the wall. So we need to create a cutout part in the wall. So how we can do that? Again, it's actually really simple. Select your wall and you can select your window part. Press slash to go into the local mode where we can edit these two properly. Select the wall behind. Press tab to go into the edit mode. Hold control and just select the cutout part like this. You can just hold control and you will see this orange color outline behind. So make sure it happens. And then you can press A to select everything, press F3 and search for knife project. This way you will see it will create a like cutout, and you can just select this cutout, press 3 for face select, select this face, press X and delete it. What this will do is if you just press slash to come back, now when you move this back, it won't really like add a wall in between and block all the light, because we want the light to pass through. So that's why we'll do something like this. Alright, so now for the wall, first click on new, create a new material, rename this to wall. And in this textures folder, you can just drag and drop this texture. And obviously these type of textures you can find on Google a lot. You will find like lots of them. Press shift plus A, add a hue saturation value node, plug this in, and now plug this into the base color. We get something like this, and make sure to press Ctrl A, apply the scale. Press tab, press A to select everything, and you can press U and select cube projection. This will just give you a lot better like UVs and scaling. And now you can select your texture, press Ctrl plus T to have the mapping node, and make sure your node wrangler add-on is enabled for this to work. And now we can just adjust the scale, select it all, and maybe like increase it a bit obviously. I think something like this would be pretty good. And again, I will just select the hue saturation value node and decrease the saturation and increase the value like to make it bright so that both of the color of these stones match. And yeah, as you can see now, both of them fit perfectly. Okay guys, so just really quickly, if you would be interested in creating these type of anime style environments in Blender, I have just released a new course on that topic. It's on sale right now for Black Friday. You can check that out. Link is in the description. Thank you. Okay, so next we are gonna add like a HDRI to the scene because it will add like a lot of natural light, which will help a lot. So if you want, you can like use any HDRI you want, but I will also be adding the one that I'm going to use. I forgot earlier. So I've added it now. Just move over to the world tab and press Shift A, search for an environment texture. And you can just click on open and we can select the one that I've added. Again, as I said, you can use whichever one you want. I will plug it in over here and it will give us nice colors. Next thing to do is to move over here in the render properties. Under the color management tab, switch from AGX to standard. For these type of stylized scenes, I like to use the standard color space a lot because I do think it gives me better results, as AGX is kind of like washed out and it gives a bit more cinematic feel. But for stylized scenes, I think standard works a lot better. Alright, so the next step is to create like the tiles below. You can also just select these two and just duplicate them this way. And this is what we are going to use. We can later like create them different colors as well. Right now something like this is, yeah, that's fine. Next we can add like some tiles on the floor. So just press Shift A, go into the extra section over here and you can select wall factory. If you don't see this appear, don't worry, you can go into edit preferences and I think you just need to enable the extra objects add-on. You can enable both of them. It will add like lot of extra objects in your Shift plus A menu. And if you don't find them over here in the add-on section, you will find them over here in the get extension one. All right. So now basically it's really simple. What we do is we disable any kind of opening. We make the edging 0 so that it is perfectly like lined up from all angles. Decrease the grout as well. We don't need any of that. Next, what I will do is I will just set the minimum over here to 1.5 basically so that I get like equal widths and equal height as well. So set this to again 1.5, 1.5. We can keep like a bit of variance, that will help us, but not that much. And yeah, decrease the depth as well. We don't need that as well. Maybe add like a little bit of variance, again not that much. Yeah, I think that's fine now. And now we can just increase the size of this a bit. Perfect. I think this is pretty good. You can press R then X, type in 90. Bring this down, place it right over here. Maybe increase the scale a little bit if you want to fit it perfectly. Yeah, I think something like this is fine. Now, if you want to actually see how our scene looks, press Shift A and add in a camera as well. And now to place the camera, you can place it in your view, just like this. Then press Ctrl Alt and 0 to properly place the camera. Let's move into our viewport shading. First select this, press Shift plus D and move it to the top. Select your camera in the view section, press N to bring up this, enable camera to view and just move it down like this. Now just place the scene however you like. I think something like this is fine. And also let's just switch to cycles, which will instantly improve our scene a lot. Make sure to set it to GPU and you can enable denoise. And with that, just disable camera to view. Select your bottom thing like the flow. Add a new material. We name it to flow. Just make it kind of something like this and give it like a nice roughness of 0.15 so that we get like the light over here bouncing. And the top one, we can just make it completely dark. We do not want like any light. Next, one more thing that I will do is I will select our floor. You can just press S then Z and kind of squeeze it like this so that it flattens out a bit. And now you can press tab, select it all. So press A to select everything. Make sure to apply the scale first. Now press tab, select everything, press F3 and you can search for randomize transform over here. As you can see, this will basically randomize the transform if you keep on moving it. Obviously, we don't want it that much, like somewhere around 0.05, 0.06, something like that. And you can see it will give like a I think that's a bit too much. I'll undo it back. Again, press F3, select randomize, and maybe go with something like 0.045. And yeah, as you can see, it will give like a nice variation to our tiles. Now right click and just shade auto smooth this. All right, one more thing that I will do is I will just select the flow and move it up so that we get all these like nice reflections a little bit better. And now I will just also enable render regions so that I only see my area of render, and also decrease the max samples to something like 100, and just press F12 to see how our render looks. It does not look that great right now, but don't worry, we will be adding some compositing to make it pop even more. So yeah, next we'll be doing that. Alright, so now the render is done. You can close this, come back to over here in the compositing tab, enable use nodes, go over here in the corner and just collapse this, and go over here in the corner and make two windows. Select this one and set this to image editor and select render result. So first start off by adding in a color balance node. So press Shift A, add in a color balance. I will decrease the lift, which will basically, as you can see, give me a little bit more contrast in the render. You can select any of the nodes and just press M to mute them and see the effect they add. So yeah, basically just decrease the lift value a little bit more, like 0.045, and also select the lift and give it like little bit bluish tint. Obviously this is a lot, so move it somewhere around here, and then you can just decrease the saturation because we only want it just a little bit. Same for the gain as well. I will make it like again a tad bit bluish, not that much, so decrease it a lot. Now if you just press M to see the effect it adds. Next we can add in a glare node. So press Shift A, add a glare node. Instead of streaks, set this to fog glow, and in the highlight section just decrease the threshold. And as you can see, if you keep on decreasing it, we will get that nice glow that will make our scene pop a lot more. Honestly, compositing makes a lot of difference, as you can already see. With both of these nodes disabled, we get something like this, and with both of them enabled, we get something like this. Also increase the size over here. Next, what I will do is I will just duplicate this one more time. So you can select this, press Shift plus D, duplicate it, and this time change from fog glow to ghost, which will give you like this lens flare like thing. And next what you do is you just decrease the overall strength of this to something like 0.25, so that it is like really faint. And we can increase the threshold as well to something like 0.5, because we don't want it that much, just a tad bit. And maybe you can add another glare, this time fog glow only. Just increase the threshold to something like 0.6, 0.7, whatever, and just decrease the size to 0.4 maybe, or even less, like 0.2. This will basically add some extra glow on top of this. As you can see, these things are totally up to like personal preference, but you can already see just by adding like these couple of compositing nodes, we have made like a whole lot of difference in our scene. Next, what I will do is we can maybe press Shift A, search for filter, and instead of soften, we can use the box sharpen, which will sharpen all our edges, but that's a lot. So set the factor to something like 0.05, which is like a nice small value. Obviously it is not much, it's really subtle, but it will provide like hardening to your edges, making it look good. And with that, I think I'm really happy with the scene. Hold Alt and just place the box sharpen at the start. Maybe set the lift to minus 0.04 and decrease this size to 0.1 and increase the threshold to 0.8, just so we get like a little bit of more of those color values. Alright guys, with that we are basically done with the video. What you can also do is, as I showed earlier, you can change the color of them, like giving them different materials. You can go over here and also enable the compositor in camera so that you see all of that glow and everything. Select this image, or maybe select this one. Let's select the first one. You can click on here to change the material, like give it a different one. And now just change the hue to like something like this emerald green. You can now adjust the values according to you, however you see fit. I think something like this is pretty good. Maybe I'll select this one, click on here again, and this time change it to red. Again, decrease the opacity. And this one can be whatever, you can change it to yellow, white, whatever. Initially I did it white, and I think this looks pretty good. Now you can press F11, press J to switch between the renders, press F12 and give it a new render. This way you can like compare between your old and new renders. So let's wait for it to finish. And yeah, with that our render is done, and as you can see, we had something like this earlier, now we have something like this. I think our stained glass windows look pretty good. I'm really happy with them. And yeah guys, with that we are done with the video. If you liked it, please make sure to like and subscribe. I will be dropping more tutorials, so yeah, just make sure to stay tuned. Thank you for watching.